Welcome to Agri-Pulse Newsmakers, where we aim to take you to the heart of ag policy in Washington and across rural America. I'm Andrew Hunnicky. We have big news this week as the Senate Ag Committee is marking up the Farm Bill. Also, we'll be joined by USDA Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation, Richard Fordyce. He'll discuss the implementation of new farm assistance, crop insurance, and current USDA priorities. But first, here are this week's headlines. At the recording of this show, the Senate Ag Committee is marking up the Farm Bill. Hours before the committee convened, Senator John Boozman offered up proposed changes on SNAP cost-sharing requirements for the states. Boozman's plan would provide states more flexibility by allowing the states to choose either fiscal year 2026 or 27 payment error rate data when calculating their fiscal year 2029 SNAP benefit cost share. But Senator Amy Klobuchar says it still falls short of what Democrats are looking for. We'll keep you updated at agripulse.com with any news concerning the markup. Meanwhile, Congress continues debating additional assistance for farmers as financial pressures remain high across much of farm country. Recent legislation includes billions of dollars in economic assistance, while producer groups continue urging lawmakers to provide longer-term certainty through a new farm bill. Well, we've got some exciting news here at Agri-Pulse Newsmakers. As many of you know, our goal is to bring you thoughtful conversations with the people shaping agriculture and food policy in Washington and across the country. To help us continue that mission, we're welcoming a new face to the program. Tammi Arender joins Agri-Pulse after an award-winning career spanning more than 3 decades in television news, including national broadcasting and extensive reporting on agriculture and rural America. Most recently, she's been serving audiences as an anchor reporter for RFD-TV, the Agriculture Network. Before she officially takes over the anchor desk, we wanted to give you a chance to get to know her. So, Tammi, welcome to Agri-Pulse. We're excited to have you on board. Tell us about your background. I understand you have a direct connection with agriculture.
I do, Andrew. First of all, it is an honor to be here. I have been a consumer of Newsmakers and Agri-Pulse for years and respect what you guys do. So it is truly an honor to be on this team. I was raised on a cotton soybean farm in Tallulah, Louisiana. That is in the northeastern corner of the state in kind of what's considered the Louisiana Delta. A lot of people know where Vicksburg, Mississippi is. Well, my dad's farm backed up to the Mississippi River, basically. And so I didn't know how much I was going to fall in love with agriculture. I knew it put food on our tables back home, and that my daddy he loved agriculture. He loved farming. And so I got it honestly. And then I became an anchor reporter for news stations from Monroe to Baton Rouge to Little Rock to Nashville, Tennessee. And I wanted to, every single day of my life, be able to lift up one, God, and number 2, farmers. Because every day when I wake up, I say, you need to thank God, thank a farmer, and thank a veteran. And so my background became very focused on doing reporting that lifted up our farmers and ranchers.
What are you looking forward to in your new role here? What's the thing you're most looking forward to?
One of the things I'm really looking forward to is the fact not only are we going to keep people abreast of what's going on policy-wise, but being able to take what we learn about policy here in Washington, D.C., but go out to the farms, go to the big farm shows. Let's talk to the farmers, because we can talk all day to the folks in those suits passing those laws and making that policy. But until we hear how it's impacting the farmers on their operations and back at home, I don't feel like we've done our job. So I'm looking forward to kind of taking the show on the road, so to speak, and being able to interact and tell the stories of our farmers, where they are and where they live.
Well, thank you very much, Tammi. We are so excited to have you here. And I'm going to turn the anchor chair over to you for the rest of the show.
I'm ready.
And coming up, USDA Undersecretary Richard Fordyce will join us to discuss the latest with crop insurance, as well as the One Farmer, One File initiative. We'll be back right after this.
As a cooperative, our customers are our owners. They share our profits and help guide our business. We're not just another lender. We're Farm Credit, and we're here for you.
I think some of sustainability to farmers just comes second nature. If you asked a farmer, are you sustainable? They'd probably look at you maybe a little funny and say, I don't think I'm doing anything that special, but it really is just what they do. We're all farmers, and our goal is taking the best care of our land, our cattle, our natural resources.
This is my sustainability story.
Welcome back to Newsmakers. Richard Fordyce, a fourth-generation farmer from Missouri, now serves as USDA's Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation, overseeing the Farm Service Agency, Risk Management Agency, and Natural Resources Conservation Service. And he joins me now. Thank you so much for being with me today, Undersecretary Fordyce. Let's start by talking about your role as Undersecretary. I know you are coming up on your one-year anniversary next month, and you have been very busy. Give us a recap of your first 11 months.
Well, Tammy, number one, it's good to be with you today. And I think you used the word busy in the introduction. And I would say that's a good descriptor of what we've been doing here at Farm Production and Conservation. You know, whether it's responding to natural disasters, implementing the Working Families Tax Cuts Act, and delivering on some ad hoc programs. We've been incredibly busy. I've got to say that I love my job. I love the people that I work with. We have exceptional leadership, I think, both on the political side and on the career side. It is a great mission area to work in, and the people that we work for are the most important people, I think, in the country, and we take that very seriously every day.
Absolutely. I know you do. And let's talk some specifics now and kind of break down some of what's kept you so busy the last 11 months. Let's start with some new flexibilities in crop insurance.
Yeah. That risk management tool that we refer to as crop insurance looks different in different places of the country, different crops and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, the farmer is going to have to pay the premiums to have that risk management coverage. And we work really hard to do something that we call deferred interest. Essentially, what it means is that when that premium bill typically comes due, we're going to give farmers an additional 60 days to pay those premiums. I kind of refer to it as cash flow flexibility. In my part of the world in Northwest Missouri, when those crop insurance premiums are due, there will be combines running, but they have probably just gotten started. And so to extend out that premium due date by 60 days, it really gives our farmers in a big swath of the country, and I'm just talking about kind of this Midwestern kind of agriculture, but this will happen across the country. It'll give those folks some additional time to market some of that crop, have some cash ready to pay those premiums. And it's a flexibility that we get asked about a lot of times. And so the ability to be able to do that this year, I think, is really important.
I think that flexibility will be important for a lot of producers. Now, is USDA looking at any additional improvements to crop insurance beyond those changes, particularly for specialty crops or maybe beginning farmers that have not had to deal with this?
Yeah, so I would add one more thing, Tammy, and that is the 5% top up on Prevent Plant. We were able to reinstate that now for the coming year. It really is, it's a product that farmers have to purchase they have to pay additional premium to purchase this product. But if they are prevented from planting, what it does is it adds 5% to that Prevent Plant indemnity. And last year, I think it was used on over 60 million acres. So it is something that we were happy to be able to reinstate. And I think we're getting very positive returns and comments about that decision as well. On the specialty crop front, we do have we can cover 83 different specialty crops currently with 22 different types of insurance plans. And the last insurance year, that insurance covered up to a little over $28 billion in coverage for specialty crop farmers. That's good news, but that is not as good a news as what we hope. And so really for the last year, the administrator of RMA, Pat Swanson, has been conducting roundtables with specialty crop farmers, with agents that help serve specialty crop farmers, trying to understand where are the gaps, where are areas that we need to introduce new products. And it might be we have a product in one part of the country, but we haven't actually extended it to other parts of the country, looking at opportunities to be able to do that. Because, since I started farming, and I won't say what year that was, but it's been a while back, I think the specialty crop sector in American agriculture has really grown. You know, and I think that American consumers want American products.
Let's talk about the producers who may still be waiting on disaster assistance or trying to recover from recent losses. What word do you have for them to encourage them?
Yeah, you know, obviously, as a farmer myself, I'm currently not farming. I can't because of the job I'm doing today. But, you know, I've personally experienced natural disasters, and you know, it's personal. It can be emotional at times, depending on the impact of that natural disaster. And so the agencies within our mission area, we look at how can we streamline participation? How can we reduce kind of the regulatory burden of folks trying to participate in our programs? But really looking at how can we respond quicker? And, you know, we've had some opportunities just this year where we've been able to grant some flexibilities in some of those disaster programs, wildfires in Nebraska, the freeze in the Northeast, where we've been able to, under some guidance that we still have some flexibility under, to be able to grant some flexibilities to make those programs more responsive to what's actually happening specifically in that area.
We'll have more with Richard Fordyce after the break. But first, Grace Miller takes a closer look at one of USDA's most important financial tools in this week's Ag by the Numbers.
This chart breaks down spending for the Commodity Credit Corporation from fiscal year 2025 projected through 2036. Commodity support programs are expected to hold the largest share of CCC spending from 2027 onward. $18.6 billion is expected to be spent on commodity support programs next year. Overall, CCC spending is expected to jump to $33.4 billion next year and drop back to $30 billion by 2030. Starting next year, conservation spending is expected to range from $7.3 billion to $8 billion annually. American Farm Bureau Federation economist John Newton says that hitting the $30 billion CCC cap will threaten USDA's authority to respond to emergencies. For Agri-Pulse, I'm Grace Miller.
I've worked at Coca-Cola for 21 years.
We're delivering Dr. Pepper from our brand new facility in Dallas, Texas.
We're really proud to still make Pepsi products in America.
You don't need a college degree to work here, but I put 4 kids through college by working here.
This is a great place to work with great people and great American brands.
Grocery stores, convenience stores, restaurants, they all depend on us.
We deliver great paying jobs.
We deliver beverages people love.
We deliver for our community.
For 35 years, soybean farmers have invested together to build demand for U.S. soy at home and around the world. Through the Soy Checkoff, farmers turn every dollar into stronger markets for U.S. soybeans, driving innovation and partnerships across feed, food, fuel, sustainable production, and beyond, led by farmers and built to last. U.S. Soy, 35 years of delivering value back to the farm and investing in the future of agriculture.
Welcome back. One issue receiving a great deal of attention is the implementation of recently approved farm assistance and how USDA plans to deliver that aid efficiently. Undersecretary Richard Fordyce, I know you have been a supporter of the One Farmer, One File initiative. Tell us more about that.
The day I was nominated, there were a number of ag journalists that asked me, what's going to be your number one priority as you serve as undersecretary? And I said, it has to be IT modernization, and it has to be streamlining the way that farmers and ranchers and landowners participate in our programs and with our agencies. And so we started on day one looking at the IT systems that deliver our programs or that support the delivery of the programs. We found that we have, depending on who's counting, maybe 500 disparate, different IT systems, databases, some that don't talk to one another, some that have been around, I don't even want to say how long, but decades, and needing, number one, to modernize those IT platforms and those systems. So we're probably over halfway finished with doing that. Not only will that create a way more streamlined ability to participate, but once we deprecate those systems, we're going to save taxpayers a considerable amount of money from our IT budgets. The next thing we wanted to look at was how can we, again, streamline that experience? So we talk about customer experience all the time. How can we make it easier for folks to participate? And so we're looking at things from forms to our internal policies and how the things that we require, how can we improve that? And then with this IT modernization, it is allowing us to build state-of-the-art tools that I think, number one, serve our farmers and ranchers and landowners in the way that they participate with our agencies. But secondarily, and equally as important, these are tools that the folks in our local county offices will have access to, will use to implement programs, do acreage reporting, etc. And tools that they can be proud of, tools that actually make their job, the tasks that they have to do, shorter. And it is a win-win-win. And we are so excited about it as we continue to move forward with this modernization and this new tool development. I've been using the word, Tammi, transformative. Mm-hmm. And I think it really will be in how we interact with America's agricultural producers.
Sounds like it will be. And I know that you actively engage with agricultural stakeholders at different roundtables and events around the country to discuss the challenges in specialty crops, crop insurance, and regulatory issues. So what are you hearing from farmers as you travel around the country?
Well, you're right. We've conducted, and I don't even know how many farmer roundtables, but just farm visits, ranch visits, going to county offices, and there will always be a farmer or two or a rancher in those county offices, and just having, structured conversations, but also just very casual conversations. And I would say that, most people that I talk to are incredibly positive about the changes in the Working Families Tax Cuts Act and what that's done to programs to improve them. But I also think that, we're hearing a lot about, challenges right now. I mean, let's be honest. Input costs are I don't know if I would say historically high, but certainly higher than what we would like to see them. We've seen a little bit of rally in commodity prices. Some new trade deals have been announced. China is now back in the market. And so there's certainly some positives there. We've had challenges from weather, as we talked about earlier. We've got some places that, really, I think are going to have a really good crop. We've got some other places that maybe not so much. A prolonged drought in the West, and folks concerned about that. So I think really, Tammi, that I would say that overall, the dialogue that I have with farmers and ranchers across the country is positive. But also recognizing we have some challenges, a lot of those weather related and things that we can help with, certainly by all the things that we have just talked about. But I will say that the nature of agricultural producers, you have to have a positive attitude.
Absolutely.
Because there are so many risks and there are so many things that can happen in a growing season, whether you're raising crops or livestock, and they are a resilient bunch. I will tell you that.
Well, don't go away. We'll be right back with more Agri-Pulse Newsmakers right after this.
I've worked at Coca-Cola for 21 years.
We're delivering Dr. Pepper from our branded facility in Dallas, Texas.
We're really proud to still make Pepsi products in America.
You don't need a college degree to work here, but I put 4 kids through college by working here.
This is a great place to work with great people and great American brands.
Grocery stores, convenience stores, restaurants, they all depend on us.
We deliver great paying jobs.
We deliver beverages people love.
We deliver for our community.
America never stops. Thanks to the financial support of Farm Credit, neither do the farmers and ranchers who call her home. Since the beginning, we've been helping rural America show the world what hard work can achieve. But the job is far from over. And as rural America grows further, we'll be there.
We continue our conversation with USDA Undersecretary Richard Fordyce. I don't know if everyone is familiar with the fact that you have dedicated more than 30 years to agriculture. Before being named the Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation, you were over the Farm Service Agency, and you headed up the Missouri Department of Agriculture. Talk about how those positions prepared you for the one you're in now.
Oh, that is a great question. My mother always told me that I exercised this muscle too much, raising my hand and volunteering. And in my career, as a farmer, being a part of the soybean checkoff, the Farm Bureau, soil conservation programs, I've had an opportunity to interact with young folks, and I've told them, and I try to live the same way myself. Every day we should challenge ourselves to do something that we're not 100% comfortable doing. And if you do that and you make a habit of that, it is pretty surprising, like, opportunities that can come your way. I was the director of the Missouri Department of Agriculture for 4 years. 2 months before that opportunity presented itself, that was not on my radar. And I chose to take on that adventure. Certainly, maybe some of the most meaningful 4 years of my life, working directly with Missouri agriculture, and then an opportunity to come to Washington in the first Trump administration and lead the Farm Service Agency. Again, another challenge, super disruptive, right? Mm-hmm. Moved from Missouri to Washington, D.C. and run an agency that was, doing a lot of stuff back then, just like they are today. And then went back home at the end of the first Trump administration, was farming and working for a public relations company remotely. And then when President Trump won again, my wife asked me about 3 or 4 days before the election. She said, when President Trump wins, will you go back to Washington? And I said, you know what? Number one, they've got to ask me, right? These things are not guaranteed. And, right. and I said I would go back for one job. And that's the one that Secretary Rollins offered and the president nominated me for. And it has been, the time that I've been here in this role has been amazing.
You are definitely living life on purpose and helping all of our farmers and ranchers. Before we say goodbye, let's just give you a chance, kind of a final word, so to speak. What message do you want to leave our farmers and ranchers today?
Well, I would say that this administration, certainly this USDA, and more specifically this mission area, every conversation we have within the doors of this building, every conversation we have outside of these doors with the Secretary's office and others, it's farmer first. And every decision that we make has a farmer focus. It is amazing the number of farmers that are in this building, that are in this mission area, that are leading our agencies. They're farmers. They're all farmers. And the conversation that we have, I think, the conversations that we have, they always go back to what can we do to support American agriculture, to support the people really that are doing a tough job right now. And what can we do to make their jobs a little easier?
And we'll be back to wrap up Newsmakers right after this.
For 35 years, soybean farmers have invested together to build demand for U.S. soy at home and around the world. Through the soy checkoff, farmers turn every dollar into stronger markets for U.S. soybeans, driving innovation and partnerships across feed, food, fuel, sustainable production, and beyond, led by farmers and built to last. U.S. Soy, 35 years of delivering value back to the farm and investing in the future of agriculture.
I was kind of known as the sheep guy around here. The fire went from north to south and it blew that way and it went straight down the house. Lost all of our sheep literally a week before we start lambing. And I was really in a bad place. I happened to notice this farm state of mind piece of paper. I picked up my cell phone and I made a phone call, and that was the best phone call in my life. I'm glad that I'm still here. So don't do something permanent over a temporary situation.
As we look ahead to next week, Congress will be on recess, but we'll have an update on where they left the markup on the Farm Bill. And I'll be traveling to Pennsylvania and do the show next week from the Penn State Ag Progress Days. So that's all the time we have for this week. I'm Tammi Arender. We'll see you next time on Agri-Pulse Newsmakers, where policy meets the people who feed, fuel, and clothe America. See you next time.
Newsmakers is a production of Agri-Pulse Communications. You can also find our new content on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow Agri-Pulse and our correspondents on social media to get breaking news and more. For agriculture, trade, food, environment, and regulatory news, your source is agripulse.com.